Hi there, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to reading Machiavelli's Discourses. Today we are continuing Book 1, focusing on today on chapter 45, which is over here in that sense. The title reads, Non-Observance of a Law That Has Been Made, and especially by its author, is a thing that sets a bad example. And to freshness, new injuries every day. New injuries every day in a city is more harmful, whomever governs it. So two things. One, it's not making a law and not observing, but particularly the ones who made it, right? Its author, not ignoring a law that you made. This is a bad example, and also to keep on, freshening new injuries every day in a city is most harmful to those governed. That's how he opens up the chapter. So, when the accord had been accomplished, and the Romans had been returned to their former form, Vergilius summoned Appius before the people to defend his cause. The latter appeared accompanied by many nobles. In other words, Appius. Vergilius commanded that he be put in prison. Appius began to cry out and to appeal to the people. Verginius said that he was not worthy of having the appeal that he had destroyed, and so to have as defender the people that he had offended. Appius replied that they did not have to violate the appeal that with so much desire they had ordered. Whereupon he was incarcerated, and before the day of judgment he killed himself. Again, this is, he goes to Livy 3, right? Although the criminal life of Appius merited every punishment, nevertheless it was hardly a civil thing to violate the laws, and so much more one that had made them. So he's saying, listen, what happened after the thing? They had the trial, right? And he then appealed. Vergilius wanted to have the tribunate restored, right? And appeal to the people restored. So he said, okay, Appius said, I want to have the appeal to the people, thinking that he could lie to them again. But Vergilius said, no, you how could you? You destroyed it. You took it away. How can we give you the right to appeal to a right that you took away, right? So the argument here is Machiavelli says, well, no, Appius merited his death. But it was wrong for Vergilius to kind of deny the right that he himself made, right? The law that he made, right? Law. So much more one that he had been made then. For I do not believe there is a thing that sets a more wicked example in a republic than to make a law and not observe it. And so much more as it is not observed by him who made it. So therefore, in other words, it is for Machiavelli that he says it's a most wicked thing. This is the thing. This is the problem of, let's say, a lot of the criticisms of the Biden administration over the handling of the migrants. In other words, it is the plain refusal to obey, enforce or comply with existing laws. Okay, this was the problem. Because they didn't have the ability to alter the law, so they just ignored them. And they said, this is not good. This is a sign of a wicked example. But it's an example. Remember, examples are the danger of an example. A wicked example is the other people will imitate it. Then, that's right. Now he turns. He then moves the second paragraph from the Roman example, right, to Florence. Florence in 94 had been recorded in its state reordered in its state by the aid of Friar Girolamo Savorona, whose writings show the learning, prudence, and the virtue of his spirit, right? Again, this is 1494. The Medicis were expelled from Florence, and the republic dominated by Savonarola was established, right? Among the other institutions to secure the citizens, he had a law made so that one could appeal to the people from sentences that the eight and the Signora gave in state cases. So he gave the idea of this. He urged this law for a long time and obtained it with the greatest difficulty. So he got this law, he got it passed. And then, soon after its confirmation, it happened that 5 citizens were condemned to death by this Signoria on the state's account, and they wished to appeal. They were not allowed to, and the law was not observed. Right? Again, this is in 1497. Bernardo di Nero, Niccolò Ridolfo, and Lorenzo Torrimonti, Giovanni Perci, and Giovanni Cambi, 5 of the most prominent optimi in Florence, were exposed in a plot to restore Pietro de' Medici to power. At the urging of Francesco Valla, the leader of Savonarola's party, they were summarily executed. Savonarola himself says, as Machiavelli says, did not intervene to secure the right of appeal under the law that had been passed at his own instance. Right? So therefore, this is an example of this similar situation. Right? That took away more reputation from the friar than any other incident. For if the appeal was useful, it ought to have been observed. If it was not useful, he ought not to have passed it, or to have had it passed. In other words, he shouldn't have made it. If it was going to be useful, then it should be allowed. If it was going to be if it was going to be not good idea, then it shouldn't have been passed in the first place. It ought not to have had it passed. This accident was noted so much the more since, in so many sermons he made after the law was broken, the friar never either condemned, damned, both times in a sense, so damned, condemned, damned. He never damned whoever had broken it or excused him as one whom he did not wish to damn, since it was a thing that turned to his purpose, and that he could not excuse. In other words, what is Machiavelli saying here? That what happened was, Savonarola did it, but Savonarola's powers condemned these guys. They didn't allow them to appeal. And Machiavelli says, listen, you should, if the policy is good, you should have obeyed it. You should have allowed it to happen. If it was, in other words, if the appeal was useful, it should have been observed. If the right to, if this appeal is not a good or useful thing, beneficial thing, then it should never been made. And also, he himself never condemned or damned. He's a friar who would always damn to hell, condemn or damn to the Machiavelli damned those who broke it, and the friar never damned whoever had broken it, or excused him in that sense. As one he did not, in other words, he didn't, he kind of was, and this destroyed the reputation of the. This did more damage to anything else, to Savonarola's reputation, he's saying, since it was a thing that turned to his purpose, benefited him getting rid of because they wanted to what? They wanted to overthrow the new government. These 5 men, they wanted to return the Medicis, and therefore this was a bad thing. But the problem about this is that, okay, he was kind of hypocritical. So now let's go to the next thing. This exposure of his ambition and partisan spirit took away reputation from him and brought him very much disapproval. So that's again, by neither condemning those who did it nor not condemning them, it revealed that he was kind of supporting this, right? You understand? What was done was beneficial to him, and this exposed an ambition and partisan spirit that took away Savonarola's reputation, Machiavelli says. 3. A state that offends very much. A state also offends very much when it freshens new humors every day in the spirit of your citizens through new injuries that are done to this one and that. As has happened in Rome in the December. In other words, what he's saying, it's the idea is that you keep on injuring people, you injuring parties. The state or the political actor is continuing allowing a policy or doing a policy that constantly harms people. So everyone is being the new humors every day in the spirit of the citizens because there have been injuries. In other words, they're angering the citizens every day by the repeated injuries of this one, then later that one. I mean, I would even argue, isn't this what the whole migrant crime thing was done? By failure to uphold the law and the rise of migrant crime, this was that you had cases of people being harmed, various people being harmed at different times, and you had a constant set of injuries, constant new injuries, which only made the people angrier and angrier, right? Now he says that this happened in the Rome in December. For all the 10 and the other citizens at different times were accused and condemned, so that there was a very great fright in all the nobility, since it was judged that no end would ever be put to like condemnations until all the nobility had been destroyed. In other words, it was aiming, you aiming at the nobility, the condemnations against the nobility. In other words, you destroyed the powerful nobles. Like you kept on doing, you kept on doing this, and that therefore it was it would have generated great inconvenience in the city if Marcus Delius, the tribune, had not provided against it. He made an edict that for 1 year it would not be permitted for anyone to summon or accuse any Roman citizen, which reassured all the nobility, right? Again, this is tied to Livy 3, line 59. There one sees how much it is harmful to a republic or a prince to hold the spirits of the subjects in suspense, and fearful with continual penalties and offenses. In other words, you can't keep on keeping penalty. Now, this echoes what Machiavelli says in The Prince about the use of cruelty well used. Okay, remember his point. It's if you're going to have to do nasty, if you're going to have to kill people or do violent things, harmful things, do them all at once and right away. Do what is necessary. Kill the necessary people you must kill. All the necessary people you must kill. Don't just say here. Because if you do it the other way, if you say, no, I'm not, that's too many people at one time, I'm just going to pick one or two, and because what this does, this is what? This creates a situation where the knife is being used all the time and people live in fear. What happens if you do it once, what happens is everything you need to do is done. Then what happens, you don't have to keep on doing harm, and people will forget. That's the lesson in The Prince. Well, this is the same principle but different issue. This is like if you're going to have a situation where you're going to have accusations and you're going to make condemnations of citizens, or you're going to use violence against them, don't do it like this. Do it wisely. Because if you keep on doing it, if you run around with the knife or run around with the accusation, everyone feels constantly, agitated and insecure, in fear, and this undermines the republic, right? He says, one sees that how much harmful to a republic or a prince to hold the spirits of the subjects into suspense, and fearful with continual penalties and offense. Without doubt, one could not hold to a more pernicious order, because men who begin to suspect that they have to suffer evil secure themselves by every mode in their danger, and become more audacious and less hesitant to try new things. In other words, they will try new. In other words, the more and more and more I feel that I will be harmed, the more and more you're making not doing this, the more willing I am. People will become to doing extreme measures, radical endeavors, new things, to try new things. As he says, they will become more audacious and less hesitant to try new things. Remember what the Declaration of Independence said. The famous line from the Declaration of Independence was that, prudence dictates that man would suffer, men will willingly suffer injuries of the things that they know for the things that they not know, right? That's, they'd put up with the existing evil because they fear the next thing is evil. But what happens if the thing gets so powerful, so great, that it is constant? It's constant fear, constant thing, and fear that they're going to be next any moment. Therefore, they have nothing to lose. Then, in other words, the second they have nothing to lose, or believe they have nothing to lose, they are more willing to engage and more audacious, and in other words, do this. Now let's finish the last sentence here. Thus, it is necessary either not to offend everyone, ever, or to do the offense at one stroke, and then reassure men and give them cause to quiet and steady their spirits. Right? This is the one. Okay, is it 6? It's 1, right? No. This is Prince. This is right from Prince, book 8, chapter 8 of the Prince. Right. This is repeating the principle of 1A. So again, Machiavelli again shows that the constant view of this lot of people who talk about, well, the Prince is for a book for princes and the Republic is an argument for republics. No, again, we're constantly seeing that all of the arguments are you can find all of the Prince's arguments in the Discourses. And that, again, the only difference that I can see in this is the difference is that the examples, that in other words, in the Discourses, the examples are more flushed out, they are more numerous, he will spend more time on them, and that is again because who's the audience of the book is written for young men who have leisure. The Discourses are for the young. Remember, it's dedicated to young men. Young men who have leisure, whereas the Prince is dedicated to a person active in political life. So again, the tension here is the audience, and I think this is a very good understanding of the danger here. That you should never make a law. If you're going to make a law, have it on the books. And the second is, if you're going to do, you don't keep on injuring people. Don't keep on doing the harm. Do it in one stroke, and then reassure people. And that's how you handle this. I'll stop here. This is the end of the chapter. If you have any comments or questions, please put them below, and when I see them, I will respond to them. Second thing is, if you liked it, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It helps. I know people don't really like the like button, and people don't always watch all of these videos. I understand. If you've liked it, share it. If you liked it very much, share it. Share it with friends. Share it far and wide. Then another thing you have to do is, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please consider subscribing and encouraging subscribing. You can subscribing only doesn't get you the notification bell. It doesn't give you any real privileges. You can always go check out the old videos and the playlists of other things. But it's worth doing, checking out. You can check the massive the playlist that on Thucydides, the playlist on the two Machiavelli Prince readings, Locke, Rousseau, and and even Aristotle and Schmidt. Okay, that's it. You want to follow me on social media, the social media links below. If you want to know more about me as a scholar and a researcher, check out Academy EDU. Check out the academic social media links below those. And last but not least, if you want to help me to do what I do, you want to help contribute and support, you can do so through Patreon or Subscribestar, or by buying one of my books. The three of the books currently that are currently available are listed below. You can order it, of course, to your local bookstore, but if your local bookstore doesn't really take orders, you can always order it through an online distributor like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Libris, so forth. Or you could order it through or directly through the publisher itself. Well, that's it. We'll stop where we are. Okay, take care, and we'll look at 46 tomorrow. Bye-bye.